Peace, peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Uh, right now. Now's the vibrate. I want to share a few books. These books that you won't, you won't hear a lot of people reference these books, you know, because, the mainstream vibes, how I say, certain people don't want certain information getting out. Like if the masses, if everybody, knew who they truly were and knew our true existence and origins, we would be acting accordingly. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be falling victim to this, oh man, it's just all one and we're just all one big glob of oneness, even though right now I'm in a human bodysuit with a unique individuality, that is meant for me to be dealing with, because that's, what I'm saying, now is the vibrate. If I'm in a unique experience right now with a little unique bodysuit, as above so below, of course the inside of my body is interconnected, but everything in my body, like, oh, we're all one, like the stomach not like we're all one, and the heart, like, like what a heart trying to do with the stomach doing, oh, we just all one, so let's just blend together and just all, like, nah, you gotta maintain your unique individuality. Is the aspect of what we're not dealing with is the egoic mind in a negative, lower vibrational sense. But there is a healthy aspect of the ego, because that's a part of this experience, is experiencing this plane of existence, within your little individual bodysuit, from your little unique perspective, source uniquely, in different little vantage points and perceptions, experiencing itself, But just want to speak on a few books, and was funny, I laugh at this too, because these books right here, well, I haven't even, so most of them I haven't even, like, of course, so some of them I might have like flipped through a chapter or two, but I haven't really even touched some of these. Now some of them I don't have, but some of them I do, and matter of fact, most of them, matter of fact, much love and light and blessings to the brethren Bobby Hemmett, man, just greatly appreciate all that work, because what's real is, of course, with anything, say for instance, Bobby Hemmett may have had information that, even for myself, I might have said something that, like, all right, I don't really too much agree with that. But again, that's a part of our experience. Again, back to us not being one big glob of oneness, and we all should be monotone and sound the same, act the same, hug all the time, even though that, like, hugging don't display, like, love is through actions and what you show a person. Like, just hugging and smiling in somebody's face is not a display of love, like, just doing that is not a true display of love. Of course, it could be used in the act of, displaying love, but just because it's being used don't mean that it's all love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to the extent of like playing sports, you passing, good game, shaking hands, but just because you shook hands, you might have still had some little vibe, towards somebody. So that gesture don't automatically say, oh, this person loved me just because they shook my hand and gave me a high five, or because they gave me a hug, or because they're smiling in my face. No, it's the true energy. That's why it's so important about that heart chakra being healthy and that heart's discernment, being able to discern, like, the energy, not with the eyes, but with that heart energy, you know what I'm saying? But again, blessings to Bobby, because again, like, well, some things, you might disagree with, but you realize, man, that the work, like, that that Bobby Hemmett and other elders from Dr. Phil Valentine, Delbert Blair, and that's the two, I mean, just three I think of, Bro C. Freeman L, you know what I'm saying, that get deep into these occult esoteric vibes, and that's more so to the ones that I vibe with. But with sharing all this information, every single thing may not be, how can I say, something that's agreeable on, or things of this nature. It's just like playing basketball. You're gonna make, most of your shots. If you're shooting a lot of shots, aka you putting a lot of material and, studying and making a lot of lectures, you know, not that anything would be necessarily wrong, but it's the fact that, you know, some information where it may not resonate with us, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily you know, right or wrong, you know. And again, with somebody putting up that much work, you know, of course 100% of everything that person says is not going to be you know, completely you know, agreeable with, or you know, things of that nature. Because I think about too, like, not being scared to share information and just, you know, being upfront with it. But let's fall back, talk about different little books. Just some important ones right now. And two, I did my best to kind of also like bring up some of the chapters in these books to kind of give you an idea of what they tap into. Now, Kenneth Grant, I did a video speaking on Kenneth Grant and how, you know, he kind of was, you know, one of the leaders of the OTO at one time, the Golden Dawn, and how he was kind of like criticized, or not criticized, but, you know, kind of pushed to the side because he was embracing the truth a little bit more than some people, you know, would like, you know, like as far as speaking on indigenous information, you know, because you start to realize like somebody's always constantly not trying to tell you about indigenous information. As a matter of fact, these books I'm gonna reference, you're gonna notice that mostly all of the new age people that put out material is never gonna quote or speak on this, even though this information is very important to our existence, you know. But go through a few. You got of course, again, Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant got a book called Outside the Circles of Time. Now this one is a little somewhat abstract. I mean, it's talking about like it kind of has like the Aleister Crowley AWAS vibe, you know, of just like this channeled information vibe, but it deals with, you know, just deeper aspects of the soul. You know, a few of the chapters names are one chapter is called Monstrous Soul. Another one is called Kalas, Outer Space, Kalas. Another one is called The Gates of Azyn, Azyn. And another chapter is called Magical Mannequins. You know, but it just taps in from like what I only caught like a chapter or two, or a matter of fact, or maybe even a chapter in that book. And basically kind of speaking of the times we're moving into, like it's basically, you know, speaking on like the era. Matter of fact, this era we going into right now, that, you know, like how they got the Aleister Crowley talked about the Eon of Horus, you know, but now we're moving into the Eon of Mayat, or the Eon of Isis. And so, you know, it taps into that information right there, and it's by Kenneth Grant, Kenneth Grant, and the book is called Outside the Circles of Time. You know, that's another Kenneth Grant book is Magical Revival. And matter of fact, and speaking on this, Kenneth Grant got like over 9 books, so I'm gonna speak on 2, or really 3 in essence. And one of the chapters in this book, again, Kenneth Grant, Magical Revival, Return of Phoenix, you know, is one, you know. And again, you see how like all this information was always pushed to the forefront, because they knew like whatever this event that's coming, you know, right now, 2020 moving forward, some DNA activations are gonna, you know, come in on such a high level that, you know, we may see you know, some X-Men type of vibes, you know, on a high level. And, you know, with if you're not familiar with X-Men, you know, you got Jean Grey. She's a strong psychic and a female, you know. That's important, you know, because again, that Phoenix energy is like that divine, basically like that divine Shakti energy, that divine Kundalini, you know, energy rising up the spine. And you know, and with that correlation, you know, it's like with the Phoenix from the X-Men story, like the Phoenix is wild, and like, you know, when Jean Grey in that Phoenix mode, she'll fuck around and burn up, you know, the people from the squad, you know what I'm saying? Just like how if you know, dealing with your sexual bliss and raising that that primordial Shakti, or you know, primordial sexual energy within, you know, if not properly grounded or prepared, you know, it could kind of throw off your energy. But again, Return of the Phoenix is one chapter. Metaphysical Basis of Sexual Magic. Drugs and the Occult. Blood, Vampirism, Death, and Moon Magic. Strayed Gods, like strayed, like a stray dog, you know. And Death Posture and New Sexuality. So that's just a few chapters from that Kenneth Grant Magical Revival book. Now also Kenneth Grant, you know, which I gotta get this book. As a matter of fact, shout out to Brother Panic as well. You know, but this book basically is by Kenneth Grant, but this after Kenneth Grant had then again, like, you know, he got to that place exposing too much, so he had to move around, and he was back in Britain, you know, or in wherever, somewhere in Europe, let's just say that. But, you know, in some way, forms, or fashion, he wasn't really allowed to come out with books from his name, you know, because, again, you know, they didn't want him, you know, sharing too much. So what happened was, you know, as a matter of fact, I got this insider from Bobby Hemmett, but Kenneth Grant was said to, it was said that he snuck into Albuquerque, New Mexico, you know, to publish a book called Polaria, matter of fact, Gift of the White Stone. So the book name is Polaria, Polaria, The Gift of the White Stone. But the author's name is W.H. Mueller. W.H. the letters, and Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R. But basically, Kenneth Grant had to go under a pen name, you know what I'm saying, and like deceptively release this book. As a matter of fact, this book basically taps into, you know, information from all 9 of his books. And I heard Bobby Hemmett say, like, you know, like this book, you know, is so deep into going into, you know, our, you know, the information of our soul and you know, in our existence, to the point of, you know, it could take a long time. Like, there's a bunch of information kind of jam-packed, so it could take, like, you know, over 10 years, you know, to still, like, you'll still be, like, catching aha moments from it, you know. And, what else he had said about it? Oh, yeah, and in this book, it also talks about the 8th chakra, you know. And we say the 8th chakra, you know, because we got, you know, more, you know, multiple chakras, like nadis and meridians throughout our physical being and auric field, you know. But they're speaking on the 8th chakra, or AKA a planet X in essence. But, you know, but that this 8th chakra, again, this planet X is, you know, internally inside of us. And like right now in these times, you know, that energy is gonna be activated, you know. The planet X, or 8th chakra, ends up in the pineal gland. He's talking about how it was like in the root, you know, and how it rises up. So that W.H. Mueller or Kenneth Grant, you know, book Polaria, you know, it's a great book to deal with because it taps into that information. But yeah, he had snuck into the country in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to publish and print this book. You know what I'm saying? So that's a key one. Another one, kind of that same ilk, you know what I'm saying, is Celestial Ship of the North by E, the letter E, Valentia, V-A-L-E-N-T-I-A, Straighton, S-T-R-A-I-T-O-N, E. Valentia Straighton, the author. And this book was banned in 1993, so this book was banned. Now, I do have this one on PDF. So in a few of these, you know, just send me a link through Instagram or what have you, you know, and we'll connect on that level. You know, the most I ask for is just and even with that, I still send it regardless. You know what I'm saying? But promotion, as far as sharing your favorite universal frequencies video, bam, and you get any of these copies of these books. Now, of course, because there's going to be a lot of y'all coming to me, you know, you'll have to be patient, because, you know, I'm going to be shipping this out, you know, between doing all kind of other things, you know, shipping it out to different people. But, yeah, you know, just send me a message if you're interested. But it's called Celestial Ship of the North. And, again, this book was banned in 1993, way back when, like in 93. Some of y'all watching this video probably wasn't even born at You know what I'm saying, when this book got banned. But a few of the chapters titles is The Mother Mystery, The Land of Light, Dualities, Celestial Origins of Jewish Race and Hebrew Language, The Sacred Four, Festivals of Fire, Celestial Waters, and The Keeper of Supernatural Treasures of Knowledge and Wisdom. You know, so that's a few chapter names in that book to just give you an idea of what's going on in there. Now, another thing that got referenced, I think this was again, most of these again coming from Bobby Hemmett lectures. Fred Allen Wolf, you know, Fred, F-R-E-D, Allen, A-L-L-E-N, Wolf, W-O-L-F, and it's called Parallel Universe. Now, it has something to do with, like, you know, again, and matter of fact, I've done a video about, like, us constantly shifting through a Taurus field, you know, like us going through these different ages, like the Kali Yuga, or the Bronze Age, the Gold Age, the Silver Age. Basically, we just constantly traveling in and out of Taurus fields, you know, on a fractal level, you know. And I explained that in another video. But Parallel Universe taps into that information, you know, again, speaking to, you know, more so what we dealing with, you know, in our immediate universe. So that's also another book. I don't have too much on that one. Again, that's just, you know, just throwing it out there. Matter of fact, again, whether I have the chapters or have it or not, you know, again, these are just important books, you know, again, spirit moving me to share with y'all. Now, also, this is not from well, it may come from a Bobby Hemmett lecture, but these two books I help with, you know, understanding the Hermetic principle or the 7 laws of the universe, because this is how the universe operates. You know, matter of fact, the 7 laws of the universe, understanding that is how Rhonda Byrne, or, you know, well, her and whoever else, like, made Law of Attraction books, you know, the book about the power or the secret. You know, basically they learned about the 7 Hermetic principles and made a book about, you know, like one of those aspects, you know, like all is mind. Like, basically they took the aspect of, you know, all this thought, all this mind, that's one of the laws of the universe, and they basically just, you know, keyed in on that aspect instead of breaking down all 7 laws. But the Emerald Tablets of Thoth is one book that I helped to tap into that, and the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion spelled K-Y-B-A-L-I-O-N. So, you know, that right there could help with that aspect. Another book, I can't remember if this one comes from Dan Winters or Bobby Hemmett, but the author name is Arthur T. Winfrey. You know, Arthur, A-R-T-H-U-R-T, letter T, Winfrey, W-I-N-F-R-E-E. And I can't remember if that's the right last name, but that's the right name. And this book is called When Time Breaks Down: The Third Dimensional Dynamics of Electrochemical Waves and Cardiac. So again, when time breaks down, the third dimensional dynamics of electrochemical waves and cardiac. And I think this may be a Dan Winters, because this is the subject matter that Dan Winters deal with a lot. But that may that will also help to tap into some information. What else? Lion Milo Duquette book, Chicken Kabbalah. You know, is a good book to deal with, you know, learning the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, you know. So basically, you know, it will help breaking down it'll help you to break down the Tree of Life. But and Lion Milo Duquette, so Kenneth Grant, you know, was one of the leaders of the OTO, and then Lion Milo Duquette was a pretty popular, I don't know, like if he was over the, you know, Golden Dawn, or, you know, the full, you know, tomato on that aspect, but he was, you know, within the OTO and you know, a very prominent member, you know. And Lion Milo Duquette, L-O-N-M-I-L-O Duquette, D-U-Q-U-E-T-T-E, and it's called Chicken Kabbalah, you know, and it taps into that information. Also, while I was right here and I had my tablet, I seen again this. It was a Bobby Hemmett lecture talking about like again that Soot Typhon energy, that Tiamat, Leviathan. Because matter of fact, you'll notice like the Church of Satan, symbol, it had like that Baphomet, Baphomet face with the upside down pentagram, and it'll have like Hebrew letters in the little circle or the seal around it, and those Hebrew letters stand for the name Leviathan. Again, and you see how everything points to tapping into that Kundalini energy, like talking about the phoenix, like everybody interested in the phoenix or this primordial mother energy, or this Soot Typhon energy, or Set, because again, all right, and on that aspect, since we're talking about that, Gerald Massey book, The Ancient Egypt Light of the World. That book right there taps into the dynasty, switching one god into the devil. So the Ancient Egypt Light of the World taps into the information of how, the Set energy got turned into the devil, and how one man's god is another man's devil. It also kind of taps into, that like breaking down that Baphomet energy and how that even comes about, in essence, again from that Set energy, and how that Set energy got demonized later on down the line because these new dynasties came into play, But and I do have that one on PDF, so I can send it. It's called Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. And another book by Gerald Massey is Book of the Beginning, Volume 1. And another book is called Natural Genesis. And brethren Gerald Massey, Gerald Massey, Massey. Gerald Massey. As a matter of fact, like from watching Bobby Hemmett lectures, that's like Rudolph Steiner, Gerald Massey, like that's them names he running, a lot, But that's for a lot of information. And again, you notice these names in these books I'm bringing up. How many times have you heard anybody from the New Age community bring up this information? This is important information. These guys not sitting down writing and dealing with this information for like again tapping into to your indigenous information, and using it while they push some New Age movement shit, which in essence, part of the New Age movement being pushed is from the the Church of Satan. Go check out Mark Passio videos. Mark Passio speaks on how he was with the Church of Satan and how like how he was with it, and then he left. Because he was talking about how he was just searching for some type of little vibes, and he got into that, and when he heard about how they was gonna implement the New Age movement, and these certain aspects of what they're gonna do, he was like, oh no, he's like, and he pulled out of that shit or whatever. But Mark Passio, M-A-R-K, Passio, P-A-S-S-I-O, go check out some of his videos, But and as I'm referencing this again, like with anybody with any information, just like myself, some things I say may resonate with you and some may not, and always using your heart discernment with dealing with any and all information, what I'm saying? Like not just taking my word for it, like dealing with it and seeing how how your inner guidance, or how how your inner being feels with this information, and how much it resonates internally. But again, the Gerald Massey books are very important. And he was another one who kind of had to deal with that somewhat blackball, vibes. Also, I can't think of any literature that the brethren wrote, but Pascal Beverly Randolph, which is which basically was like a melanated brethren back in the day. Matter of fact, it's like a consultant for Abraham Lincoln. He was basically like one of the first people to tap into sex magic on a high level, and he started the first order of Rosicrucians in America. And matter of fact, because H.P. Blavatsky, Helen P. Blavatsky was kind of like they kind of had like some type of little beef or something like that. But, you know, Pascal Beverly Randolph, check out you know, check out him and his information, you know, and tap into that realm as well. But again, that Fred Allen Wolf parallel universes, you know, dealing with like this information again. I forgot what Bobby Hemmett lecture it was, but you know, just tapping into the movement through these universes and talking about universe A and the universe B, you know, and you know, moving through these realms. Again, I'm trying to see. All right, I can't find the actual name of that lecture, but again, so another book by Rudolf Steiner called Cosmic Memory, and Rudolf Steiner, R-U-D-O-L-P-H, Steiner, S-T-E-I-N-E-R. In fact, think about the Steiner brothers from wrestling, but see, that subconscious programming plugged in. Anyway, Cosmic Memory, and this deals with the prehistory of Earth in the womb man, or you know, or the human, you know, or however you want to call it. But you know, because I don't like to just say man, because some people just like the beginning of mankind, like, well, you know, man is not necessarily the first essence of, you know, of energy. Is more so that womb man, you know. But it's called Cosmic Memory, and again, it taps into that prehistory of Earth, you know. And one of the chapter names is Atlantean Ancestors. Another one is called the Lemurian Race. Another one is called Sex Division. And the Sex Division one, you know, that's also kind of tapped in. You see that across the board, like in the Credo Mutwa story, you know, Credo Mutwa, who David Icke had came across, is an old African shaman that spoke on the Chitauri people, Chitauri, but the Chitauri beings are like these reptilian beings who, you know, divided, like gave us, you know, words and language to confuse us, you know, talking about, oh, you're gonna be a god if you start using these words and language, but it actually confused us, and it took us out of our androgynous nature, and you know, and separate us into, you know, these different sexual divisions. Now, just because we have this this ancient androgynous nature and connection, that doesn't mean it's meant for us to be homosexual in this realm of reality right now. And again, as I'm saying that, not knocking anybody who, you know, deals with that energy, but the reality of the situation is, you know, naturally, you know, it takes, you know, the name Enter the Course, you know, it takes phallic energy and feminine energy to have intercourse and bring life into this, you know, into this plane of existence. And I always joke about, I'm like, even you know, someone who may be, you know, homosexual for whatever, you know, for whatever it is like, hey, realize the beauty, and like, you were allowed to be, you know, to have that sexual orientation due to somebody being heterosexual. So the reason why you're in this realm is due to somebody being in the natural essence of that, you know, again, of, you know, that masculine and feminine energy combining and joining. But yeah, at one time we were, you know, androgynous, and even further back from, you know, to the no thing, you know what I'm saying? No thing is like, you know, it's genderless, it's colorless, you know, it's no thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but again, people too will try to manipulate that information to try to promote, you know, because again, homosexuality is promoted for population control. You know, the more people who's not, you know, able to reproduce, the less the population grows, the easier it is to control the population. But and again, teach his own on your, you know, however you do you, that's how you feel. But another oh, and also with that sex division too, I thought about also how Dan Winters spoke on like how certain Aboriginal tribes, you know, on the ancient levels, you know, the men and the women were beefing on some levels, you know, and spoke different languages, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of, you know, kind of adds to the Salsa Credo Mutua story about, you know, this sexual divide. Another chapter name, though, and a matter of fact, these are 3 different chapters, but I just kind of put it together. But, you know, one chapter is called Life on Saturn, another one is called Life on the Sun, another one is about life on the Moon, and another chapter is about the beginning of the Earth, you know. So this is what this book by Rudolf Steiner called Cosmic Memory taps into. Again, this prehistory of Earth. Because again, if you tapping into this information, you know, in order to know where I'm going, I gotta know where I'm coming from. I gotta know my roots, you know, to know where I'm growing, you know what I'm saying? Literally, you know. And that doesn't mean we harp on our ancient history in a way that it hinders us from being in our moment and it hinders our growth in this moment. But but there's information that is relevant to our now that comes from our past. Like, it's relevant right now for you to know about past information that you're not being given. You know what I'm saying? You're purposely not being given certain information. That's why certain people walking around here with that reverse psychology, racist ass shit, like we're all one, and don't go tapping into your indigenous information. No, please don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, does the people on the Sentinel Islands, who some of the ancient beings on this realm of reality, speak on this blind one love vibe? The people on Solomon Islands speak on this blind one love? Because these people are more ancient than, you know, most people. Even for some melanated people on this planet, they more than, you know, some of the most ancient beings on this realm of existence, you know. And so, you know, it's just common sense that, all right, how could I let somebody who just came across our information 2,000 years ago teach me about how to be myself? You know, like, it doesn't make sense. But again, another book called The Signed and Sealed by Graham Hancock. You know, this book taps into basically in so many words, to prove that the Ark of the Covenant was really physically in Ethiopia at one time. Now, for me, again, I don't too much resonate with trying to look for a physical Ark of the Covenant as much as I kind of feel a vibe of, like, you know, like the Ark of the Covenant energy is within me, you know, like that. Again, whenever you hear things about the Philosopher's Stone, you know, it's like the pineal gland being, you know, open and on, you know what I'm saying? Like David killing the Goliath with that stone, you know, it's like that pineal gland, that stone. The stone that the builder refused would be the head cornerstone. You know, but the signed and the signed and sealed, you know, again by Graham Hancock, Graham Graham, Hancock Hancock. You know, it deals with the Ark of the Covenant physically being in Ethiopia. Another this author, I don't necessarily have the name of the book, but basically Jean Doresse, Jean Doresse, Doresse. Jean Doresse, basically she published a reference to Carl Jung's Codex, or Codex 1. You know, basically you got the Nag Hammadi text, and Carl Jung was basically, you know, Carl Gustav Jung was gifted, you know, basically an ancient text, you know what I'm saying, to sit there and you know, and dissect. And basically that's why his shadow, like his information on shadow work and things of this nature is so prominent, you know. And again, that's how you realize too, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as far as, like, you know, if you try to be on that vibe of like, again, this is real 3D anyway. It almost feels funny even tapping into this information. As a matter of fact, I ain't even gonna do it. Just realize, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because, and that's on both sides. Let's say it like that. Just because somebody may not have the same looking bodysuit as you doesn't mean that there isn't any sauce to what they may be speaking on, and that it, you know, there's useful information that comes from all different types of sources, you know. Yeah, and I'm speaking to, everybody, because it may be some quote unquote white people that may not feel like, oh, I ain't gonna tap into the Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Phil Valentine, I ain't getting into the indigenous information. Maybe some black people feel like, oh, I ain't reading no book by Rudolph Steiner or Carl Jung, or this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you blocking yourself from from enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I did a video about that too. But anyway, Jean Dorés, tapping into that Carl Jung codex, basically the Gnostic scripts, the Gnostic papers, because it taps into the Book of Enoch. I think it's the Song of Solomon, dealing with the Apocrypha, and again the Nile Hammadi text, taken away. Now in Ethiopia, they still have like a lot of these texts, a lot of Gnostic stuff like the Book of Enoch, and the Apocrypha, things of this nature. But because matter of fact, when the Book of Enoch is present, you basically can't sell that fake story of Jesus. Like, and when you come across the Book of Enoch, you feel like, God damn, like they really was like hiding some shit. Like, this is like, that's the main sources. Like, so picture this, like the fucking Book of Enoch, in essence, in certain Gnostic texts, basically it's like, how like at the beginning it was Adam and Eve, and and at the beginning source moved over the waters, like, that little short Genesis story. Like, the Gnostic papers like open that shit up and like, nah, let's break down how all this happened, you know what I'm saying, and putting these archangels here, and the fixed cardinal signs of the zodiac, or the four corners of the world, the four horsemen, you know what I'm saying. Like, it taps into all that information that's very important, that shouldn't be left out, you know what I'm saying. Imagine if I'm telling you a story and I leave out some information, and then you go to tell that story to somebody else, and it just so happened that they heard the full story, and they're like, bro, you only got part of that story. You realize that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's way more to that story, somebody must have just told you parts of that shit, But Jim Branden, Jimbranden, this book kind of taps into the Comedian Kabbalah, from Kemet, Kim, the black dot, the darkness, and that's where you get the word, Kemet, or I ain't gonna say that's where you get the word, but Kemet, that black dot, dealing with that carbon energy. And also, chemistry, the study of the chem, study of that. And again, that black dot, in essence, the study of that, that void, like just how like CERN, quote unquote, or whatever they're doing, but trying to, mess with that atom to see like that nothingness within the atom, because it's, said that atoms are like 99.9% nothingness, like a void energy, But Jim Branden book, Rebirth of Pan, again, shout out to Brother Panic, because that's tapped into that energy, and this information kind of speak on the war in heaven, basically, or the war with Orion, and Orion beings fighting with the Sirius beings. Now, also the Terra Papers by Robert Morningsky, and if you go look up the video by Robert Morningsky, speaking on the Terra Papers, that'll give you insight, more insight about these Orion wars. Also, so you got this book by Jim Branden that taps into this. You got the Terra Papers by Robert Morningsky, and then you got the Terra Paper video by Robert Morningsky. You could go look up on YouTube right now. And also, Dan Winters got a video called E.T. History and E.T. Origins that tap into this. And also watching the movie Dune. So all these other aspects I just told you, like, if you lump them together, you're gonna be drawing a lot of parallels. Now, also, Star Wars indirectly deals with this story as well. You know what I'm saying? I say indirectly, but it deals with that the Orion Wars. So definitely check out that. And I did a few videos myself speaking on it, but definitely you want to tap into that information. Another Rudolf Steiner book, called Spiritual Hierarchy, and it also kind of taps into Comedian Kabbalah as well. And this kind of speaks in, goes into the realm of like our brothers and sisters in space, so to speak. You know, we say in space, but you know, our star family, and when I, you know, just that reference, you know, the brethren and sister and star family, I thought about the show Marvel Runaways on matter of fact, it's on Hulu. But Marvel Runaways, you know, they have this spaceship buried deep in Los Angeles, you know, with the storyline of Marvel Runaways, and this light being, you know, and of course, you know, subconscious programming, they ain't gonna let the light being be played by a melanated character in these shows, you know. And again, you start to realize, no matter, like, just because you're being subtle about what you're doing doesn't mean that it doesn't have an extremely harmful impact, you know. Just because it's not a noose, like just because you're not going around trying to hang people from trees anymore and enslave people, you know, and just because you don't wave a Confederate flag and sing Sweet Home Alabama all the time, that's a joke. But you know, it's still those subtleties, it's still, you know, pushing that racist vibe. But anyway, you know, within Marvel Runaways, you know, you got the main character, I forgot his name, but matter of fact, he ended up having a church in LA started, you know, because of him, because he came to somebody, you know, and showed him his light, you know, showed how he was a light being, and then they started this whole religion about these light beings that's going to return and things of this nature. But they made it look like a cult to try to, you know, again, because they constantly want to make, you know, they know that we're going to be waking up, connecting, and building communities on certain levels. So they create this vibe of making, you know, these cults, promoting this cult type of vibe and making it look extremely distasteful to program people's subconscious to be afraid of when it's time for us to start connecting on a true aspect, authentic, true energy, you know, to make it seem like it's something that, oh, you know, they're crazy or something wrong or things of this nature, you know. So basically, like, social engineering people to be, you know, scared of that energy. But again, Rudolf Steiner, Spiritual Hierarchy, you know, tapping into, again, our brethren and sister, you know, star fam, you know. That's basically it, y'all. A quick little rundown. Lion Milo Duquette, Chicken Kabbalah, Kenneth Grant, Outside the Circles of Time, Kenneth Grant, Magical Revival, Rudolf Steiner, Cosmic Memory, Gerald Massey, Book of the Beginning, Volume 1, Gerald Massey, Natural Genesis, Gerald Massey, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, Graham Hancock, The Signed and Sealed, Jean Dorés, dealing with the Carl Jung Codex, Jim Brandon, Rebirth of Pan, Rudolf Steiner, Spiritual Hierarchy, E. Valentia Straighten, Celestial Ship of the North, and Celestial Ship, Celestial Ship, SHIP of the North. You know, and this book was banned in '93. Remember that. And W.H. Mueller book, or AKA Kenneth Grant. You know what I'm saying? Polaria, Gift of the White Stone. Fred Allen Wolf, Parallel Universe, and Arthur T. Winfrey. When time breaks down the three-dimensional dynamics of electrochemical waves and cardiac. And again, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth in the Kabbalah. But that's basically it. Just definitely wanted to share this with y'all, you know. Peace. Happy now. Now's a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, and again, take what resonate, leave what don't. You know what I'm saying? But you notice that these books aren't referenced by everybody all the time for a reason. But peace, y'all.